I did go into preterm labor twice. Hi guys, welcome back. If you are new here, click the subscribe button. Also, if you are new here, hi, hello, my name is Kayla, and today I'm going to be doing my 35 and 36 week pregnancy update. So this is going to be a very long video because there's a lot of stuff that has gone on. You probably see the title. I did go into preterm labor twice. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. Just doing like a little update for you guys. So I am almost 36 weeks. Today I am 35 weeks and 6 days. So tomorrow I am 36 weeks. So I'm just going to count this as my 36 week update. But yeah, it's been a crazy past couple weeks. And I'm gonna get into that. If you guys didn't know, my kids went to my mom's house and they were gone for a week. They were just having fun. Obviously, I am super freaking pregnant and I wanted them to enjoy their summer a little bit. So they went and enjoyed a little bit of their summer. And when they came back, Elliot came back with a sickness. This always happens. This just always happens with kids, and especially like 2-year-olds and 4-year-olds. So we didn't think anything of it until that night when he was having trouble breathing. So he actually went to the emergency room and he tested positive for RSV. Me thinking I'm 100% gonna get it. So and obviously knowing about RSV, I don't want the baby to come when we have RSV in our house. I wanted the baby to not be anywhere near it. So anyway, I believe on Monday is when I got sick with the sickness. So I was sick with what we think is RSV. Obviously, we don't know if I was positive for it, but my son was. So I was exposed. So I had that for about a week, and yeah, it's just it kind of sucks knowing that like I had a sickness again. This is my 6th sickness this pregnancy. I don't get this sick. I usually get sick once a year. And that's at the beginning of like December-ish when all of the weather is changing a lot. That's when I usually get sick. But this pregnancy, I've been sick 6 times. So that's fine. Including the big C word. So that entire week just like went by and nothing really happened. It was actually kind of a boring week. I had like all of my usual symptoms that I've been having, like SPD and stuff like that. So just like normal pains throughout that week. So I didn't have anything written down. So that's why I didn't actually sit down and do a video about it, because it would have just been like, I got RSV. Okay, bye. And then the night before 35 weeks, me and my husband were intimate. And if you don't want to hear about TMI, you probably shouldn't have clicked on a pregnancy update. Let's be real. This entire update is going to be very much TMI. But I had started to have contractions right after we were intimate. So I didn't really think much of it at first. I usually get cramps just in general. So this wasn't like very unusual, but then I started noticing that they were pretty close together and I was like, oh no. So I started timing them. I believe around just before 10 p.m. is when I started timing them. I had actually eaten McDonald's, and my husband's amazing and he got me some McDonald's. So I ate some McDonald's. This was about 20 minutes after the deed. And I start having contractions, start timing them, and they are coming every like 5 minutes. And then they just keep getting closer and closer and closer together, and they're getting stronger and stronger. And my husband was in the shower at this point, and I was like, these are really close together. They were coming like every 2 to 3 minutes at this point. Sorry, my neighbors pulled up. But I start timing my contractions. They are really, really close together, and I'm starting to moan my way through them, which is when I know that I'm having real contractions. It's what I've done with every single one of my like early labors. Moaning my way through a contraction actually like takes the focus off of the pain for me and helps me get through the contractions. So that's what I started doing, and I was like, once I get to the moaning stage, I'm like, we gotta go. So it was around 11:30, and we had made some rearrangements for the kids to go to, and so we dropped them off and everything, and it's about midnight, and we are headed on the road. My hospital is an hour away. If you guys don't know, I do not want to go to my local hospital. I do not trust my local hospital. So yeah, I don't know what would have happened if I had actually gone to my local hospital and all of this stuff had happened. Like, I don't even want to figure it out. So we got to the hospital just before 1 a.m. I get into the room and everything. You know, I go up to the desk and I say like, hey, I'm having contractions. I'm 35 weeks. I called ahead of time so they knew that I was coming, and my contractions were coming 1 to 2 minutes at this point, and I knew that like these were real contractions. This was real labor. Like, I'm only 35 weeks at this point. I was finally 35 weeks. But unfortunately at my hospital, they will not do anything to speed your labor along until 37 weeks. So I was having contractions for 12 hours. So anyway, we got to the hospital at 1 a.m. and I get hooked up to the monitors. I am now checked to see if I'm dilating, and I am 3.5 centimeters dilated and 80% effaced. So I'm like, cool. 35 weeks, 3.5 centimeters and 80% effaced, contractions coming 1 to 2 minutes. Like, this is preterm labor. So they sit on me for a little bit, watch me on the monitors and everything, and they're obviously watching my contractions and watching the baby's heartbeat, and baby's heartbeat looks really good. They are saying that my contractions are very, very close together. So at this time, they actually take me off of the monitors. I think they let me be on the monitors for about an hour, and then they take me off and they say that I can go take a bath. And this is actually in my birth plan, to be in the bathtub for most of my labor. Obviously, hopefully I actually get to the point where like I'm actually in full-blown labor. It's very frustrating having contractions, being like, and dilating too, and not having anything happen. I'm still sitting here without a baby in my arms. So I know that it's okay. I know. Let me have my feelings, okay? A lot of people didn't like that I was having my feelings on my TikTok, so there's that. But anyway, I think it was like around 3 o'clock probably. I got off the monitors, went into the bathtub. I stayed in there for about an hour and a half, something like that, just like working my way through the contractions. I was getting into different positions in the tub, and just like trying to just get my way through these contractions at the moment, trying to speed it along, honestly, because there is a mandatory 12-hour observation for babies that are born at 35 weeks. And at this point, we had actually made peace with that. We have 100% made peace with the fact that like this baby could possibly have NICU time. It's okay. It's okay. So just like going through the contractions, going through that entire night, I am then checked again around, I believe 4, and I am 4 centimeters dilated. She says that she actually said that I was so close to 5 centimeters. So she let me be on the monitors for a little bit. I actually, at this point, they gave me some meds to take to try and stop the contractions. This med was not successful. Actually, the one that they usually give is actually in like a national shortage right now. So, I had to take something different, and it didn't work with my body. Like it didn't work. So anyway, going through all of that, obviously after getting that med, I'm like, okay, well, it's either try and stop the contractions and sit here through the pain in this bed that is making the pain even worse, or work through the contractions and actually try and get labor started. So I was stuck between a rock and a hard place at this point, and so I said, we've made peace with the fact of NICU time. Both Brayden and I did at that time. So this was like around 4 a.m. or so. I'm really fuzzy on the timeline. I'm still on the monitors and everything. They actually give me some wireless monitors so I can like walk around and everything, which was really, really nice. So at this time, I'm like, I'm not gonna sit in this bed any longer. Just trying to breathe through these contractions. I'm actually gonna try and like work to get labor rolling. So, so my contractions just kept coming and coming and coming. The meds did not work at all. My contractions actually didn't stop until about 9 a.m. So it was about 12 hours of contractions, 1 to 2 minutes apart. I was then checked again, just before. I was then checked again, I think around like 10 or so, and I was still a 5. I was dilated to a 5 at this point, and still phased and everything. And at this point is when my contractions had actually stopped. They started spreading out more, and then eventually I had none for like 3 hours. So they were like, okay, we're going to check you again at noon. And if you are not dilated, then we are going to just like send you home and discharge you. Because it is best to obviously keep the baby in, but they obviously also couldn't like give me induction stuff either. So around noon, they check me. I'm still 5 centimeters dilated. My contractions have completely stopped at this point, and it's just a matter of being discharged at this point. So this day was now a week ago. I still don't have a baby in my arms, obviously, which is obviously good. They want to get me to at least 36 weeks, which is tomorrow. By the time you guys are watching this, I will actually already be full term, which is really, really great. So you guys are going to be watching this, I believe, in like 4 videos from now. So, yeah, just kind of like a crazy, crazy time. But yeah, they discharged me. A lot of people were like mad that they didn't keep me, but because I wasn't contracting anymore, I wasn't dilated anymore from about probably 4 a.m. or so. Because I wasn't dilated anymore, they decided to discharge me. And I'm obviously a mom I have kids at home, and so who knows how long I would have been in the hospital without induction techniques, you know, stuff like that. So I go home, and this is now the evening of Wednesday, and I actually lose part of my mucus plug, and I have my bloody show. So, oh yeah, and I also forgot to say that they did give me the first shot of steroids in my leg in my thigh to try and help with the baby's lungs, just in case the baby does come. So I did have that, and then the next day I had to go in for the second steroid shot. So no, I am all good with steroid shots. They actually didn't hurt as bad as people say. They did not hurt as bad as people say. I was so worried that they were gonna hurt. It hurt. The first one in my leg didn't hurt at all. Second one actually went in my butt, and that one hurt for maybe 5 minutes. And then I didn't feel it the rest of the day. Nothing. So there's that. So then I am put on bed rest. They tell me, you know, don't do anything. Don't do anything, because literally what put me into labor was the deed. So I know how we're getting this baby out, at least. But yeah, I now have like a very irritable uterus, especially after that day. I would just like touch my stomach and it would cause a contraction. So that's fun. Not at all. And I'm just like so over it. Then Friday I actually started having back labor, which I had no idea about, because I have scoliosis. This is when my chronic problems become very problematic, because I thought I was just having like a bad scoliosis day. I get pains from my scoliosis daily, and my back is literally constantly in pain. Until I started noticing that it was like coming in waves, coming and going. And I was like, that's not my scoliosis. So I actually started timing them, and they were pretty close together. They were like 4 minutes apart all day long, you guys, like all day long on Friday. I had no idea. And then on Saturday, I actually had a few contractions right when I woke up, and I could feel them in my stomach. So, and then it kind of like was flip-flopping back and forth between my back and my stomach all day long. So I was having back labor mixed with like a little bit of like regular contractions. And I was like, these are timeable. I started timing them, and they were three minutes apart at that point. I take another pill, because they had actually prescribed me another pill to try and stop my labor, just in case like I started having contractions again, which I did. And that didn't work. The pill did not work again. So I'm still having contractions. I call Braden. He is an hour away at his job, and I'm like, hey, I said that I wouldn't call you unless it's something important, so you might want to head home. And then he gets here, and then we have to drive an hour back to the hospital. So yeah, we finally get there around, oh my gosh, what time was that? It was like 3:30 or something. I have never gone into labor during the day. So, and my contractions were 1 to 2 minutes apart. They weren't as strong as Wednesdays, but knowing what happened on Wednesday, and like knowing that I was dilating for my contractions, knowing all of this, and also I am not dehydrated. I have this little handy dandy thing. I've been drinking at least one of these a day. Yesterday I drank 1.5. So there's that. This is also a gallon, if you guys don't know. You're supposed to drink a gallon a day, and that's what I've been doing. So I know it's not dehydration, and also dehydration would not change your cervix. So also they checked me for an infection. They checked me for everything. I don't have anything, so there's no reason why these contractions would have started, why I would have actually gone into preterm labor. I'm actually going to have them check my magnesium levels, because I did have, at one point in this pregnancy, have low magnesium, and that would cause like headaches. That was like my biggest symptoms, the headaches that would not go away. I actually thought it was preeclampsia, and turns out it was just low magnesium. I'm actually gonna have them check my magnesium levels again, just to see if that could be causing my contractions as well, because my headaches are also back. So, anyway, I feel like I've been talking forever. Saturday, we get to the hospital, get hooked up to the monitor. I'm still 5 centimeters dilated. So I had not dilated anymore. And actually when I was having contractions, I was like, I don't want to speed up this labor. So I was like trying to not do anything to try and speed up the labor. But yeah, on the way to the hospital, my contractions were 1 to 2 minutes apart again. And people are like, but how are you going to know when you're actually in labor? Because you're going to second guess yourself. If I go in and they say that I'm not in labor again, or they send me home, then it is what it is. I would rather be safe than sorry. I really don't want to have a home birth unplanned. So anyway, that's kind of what happened on Saturday. So my contractions had actually fizzled out. I was on the monitor for 3 hours, which was a long time. So I got to the hospital, I believe around like 3:30 or so. And then I actually got discharged around 8:30, I believe. So you can do that math. I'm not mathing today. But my contractions had actually fizzled out around 7 o'clock. So about an hour and a half of not having contractions. I was actually in the tub and everything, and I was like, this is not going anywhere, is it? And I just start crying because I've been in labor for a week and I'm exhausted. My body is tired. I have prayed to God many times this week that the next time I have contractions will be the time, because I'm tired of going in, having such regular contractions and dilating and not having a baby at the end of it. And I know people are like, oh, but it's better to have your baby inside of you. Okay, cool. But also I'm tired. My body is so tired right now. My body feels this agony, this pain. My first ever labor was 12 hours. I have endured that plus another 12. So I am over what any of my other labors were. I am tired. And even with not having contractions for a couple days now, my body is still recovering from Saturday. Today is Tuesday. So my body is just tired. My uterus is very irritable. Yesterday we went to my appointment. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. We went to my appointment and the baby was in a weird place. So I tried to move the baby and then that caused a contraction. And then I just breathed and that caused a contraction, and that one was really, really painful. So I'm having contractions, but they're not regular. And even when they are regular, I'm going into the hospital and then being discharged, and it's so frustrating. And I'm allowed to have my feelings. A lot of people don't like that I have these kinds of feelings, but these are my feelings. And anyway, enough of that little tangent. But yeah, we got let go around 8:30 that night on Saturday. Came home. I was so exhausted. The next day, my body was really, really feeling it. I started having a lot of SPD pain, and I'm having a ton of SPD pain the past 2 days. So much so that I was in full-blown tears last night because I physically can't move. I am miserable, you guys. Pregnancy is misery to me, and I'm so glad I never have to go through this again, but I'm still not done. And it's hard knowing that I'm not done yet. I also have dropped. So I believe it was Thursday. So this was I had the contractions, went to the hospital Wednesday. And then on Thursday, I actually dropped very significantly, probably about that much. The baby loves my ribs, always up in my stomach. Like every time I eat, I can only eat like 1 or 2 bites and I'm full because the baby's butt is like right in my stomach. So, and then I start noticing, wow, I feel so much heavier down there. So I take a picture of my stomach and I'm like, whoa, this baby has dropped. I actually believe the baby has come up just a little bit today, but over the last few days, I'm actually going to put some pictures up here. The last few days, this baby has dropped. So yeah, definitely gearing up for labor. Thank God. Hopefully real labor next time. I also started leaking colostrum, which I don't do during pregnancy. I don't leak during pregnancy. So I started leaking colostrum randomly too. Like there was no reason why I should have leaked colostrum, but I did. So anyway, and now moving on to my appointment. So yesterday we went into my appointment and I actually felt like this was very rushed. Unfortunately, she was running late to a birth, which I get, but at the same time, like I kind of need that time, especially since the one midwife at the hospital who was on call, she was actually on call both Wednesday and Saturday when I went in. So she had actually told me like, hey, on Monday, keep your appointment, come in. We're actually going to check you in just to make sure like things are still the same. Also on Saturday, they would have admitted me if I had dilated 1 more centimeter. So that is like the most frustrating thing about all of this, is that if I had just dilated 1 more centimeter, I would have been out of my misery. So yeah. Anyway, so I go to my doctor's and they're here to work on the roof, so I have to really get through this. I get checked. This was a different doctor who doesn't know anything about my situation, so I'm like talking to her about everything that's happened. So she checks me and she says I'm still 5 centimeters dilated. She did say that I'm thick, which kind of confuses me. I don't know if you can go back on effacement. I was 80% effaced on Wednesday, so I don't know how that's pretty thick. I don't know. So, yeah, I am still dilated to a 5, not dilated anymore. She says that I'm not technically on bed rest, but it's kind of confusing because I actually had the other midwife say that I should be on bed rest, no pelvic activities, and just like taking it really easy, and that like it's essentially bed rest. So there's that. But yeah, I am going to back up and show you guys my belly. This is my 36-week belly with the shirt on and with the shirt up. So yeah, I've definitely a little bit have dropped. But yeah, this is my 36-week belly. This might be the last bump date ever. So crazy. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you in the next one. Bye guys. I had a feeling you'd come back and save me.